This might sound crazy, but there are some surprising, incredible benefits to only eating meat for 30 days in a row. And in this lesson, I'm gonna reveal to you the top 5 amazing benefits of eating just meat for those 30 days. This is also called the carnivore diet. The first benefit is that you completely revamp and restore your digestive system. It's a complete gut reset. If you're dealing with acid reflux, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, food allergies, and even autoimmune disease, most people can completely get rid of these symptoms in 30 days of just eating only meat. There's a condition called leaky gut, and it's estimated that most people have leaky gut. That is when your digestive system is not properly digesting food and you have food particles that go undigested that leak into your bloodstream. You see, you have a physical barrier in your digestive system called the mucosal barrier, and it has these tight junctions. They're called tight junctions because they're tightly closed, and it's supposed to keep your food fully digested and stay in between the mucosal barrier so that food could get assimilated and used for nutrients and energy production and fat loss, etc. When you have leaky gut, those tight junctions begin to rip open, then you eat food, even healthy food, and those food particles go undigested, they enter your bloodstream, and your immune system has to deal with it. This is a big problem because it creates an overactive immune system. Your immune system goes on high alert, and all of a sudden you have healthy foods that you might be eating, like eggs, avocados, and broccoli, that the immune system tags as a threat. And then you get a food sensitivity to these foods. When this happens over time, it leads to autoimmune diseases. There are over 100 autoimmune diseases and an additional 40 diseases associated with autoimmune disease. So when this happens, it is poop entering your bloodstream, undigested food particles. Even Harvard published an article recently, you can see that all disease begins in the leaky gut. Here's an illustration of how this happens. They call it loss of mucosal immune homeostasis, in other words, leaky gut. You can see the tight junctions there. When they start to divide and open up, that's when you get an inflammatory response with leaky gut and these food particles entering your bloodstream. There is a break of the tolerance, and it increases pro-inflammatory allergic cytokines, and it leads to a lot of symptoms. So how does only eating meat help with this? Well, plants, which include all vegetables, have compounds in them called anti-nutrients. Another name for them are plant toxins. Plants created these chemicals over time for survival. If you think about human beings and animals, we have the ability to fend for ourselves by running away from a predator or fighting that predator. Plants don't have this ability. So plants got really smart and creative, and they created plant toxins. So when a predator ate a certain plant, that predator got really sick and maybe sometimes even died, and it remembered not to eat that plant again. That's how plants have survived. These plant toxins have many different names. Some of them are called tannins, lectins, phytates, oxalates, and many others out there, and every vegetable contains these plant toxins. One of them that I mentioned, oxalates, are a big problem out there. Oxalates get stored in your kidneys and your joints, creates massive inflammation in your body, and it pokes holes in that intestinal lining, that leaky gut. It creates leaky gut. You can see an image here, 2 images of what these oxalates look like. They're tiny little crystals that you could only see in a microscope. They're little needles, essentially, sharp little needles that poke holes in your tight junctions, leading to leaky gut. It's not only plants that contain them, there are also some nuts and seeds, including one called almonds, that are high in oxalates. So when you eat meat, it is devoid of these anti-nutrients and plant toxins. You eliminate these plant toxins and you allow that mucosal barrier to heal itself, meaning those tight junctions that have ripped open from plant toxins begin to close, and now you digest food, you get rid of food sensitivities and all the symptoms I mentioned associated with leaky gut. The second amazing benefit of only eating meat for 30 days is you melt stubborn body fat. I'm referring to the fat around your stomach, your hips, your thighs. This is called white fat, in other words, visceral fat, the fat around your organs that is very dangerous and inflammatory. You have hundreds of hormones inside of your body, but there is only one hormone, which is also an energy sensor, that signals fat storage, and that hormone is called insulin. Insulin is not bad unless insulin is elevated. When insulin is elevated, your fat-burning hormones go into hiding, and you signal to your body, store fat. In other words, high levels of insulin, high fat storage. Low levels of insulin, high fat burning. It is the switch that allows you to switch over to using body fat for energy. So let's observe the three macronutrients. We have carbohydrates, protein, and fat. As you can see on this chart, courtesy of Verta Health, when we look at these three macronutrients and the blood insulin response after eating them, it is by far carbohydrates that give you the biggest insulin response, meaning fat storage response. Protein is second with a minimal response, and fat doesn't even touch insulin. So when you eat meat, which virtually has zero carbohydrates and it's mostly protein and fat, you dramatically lower your insulin levels and make that metabolic switch to tapping into stored body fat for energy. So if you have extra weight and you eat nothing but meat for 30 days, you're gonna lose a lot of that extra weight. You could lose up to 15 pounds of fat in those 30 days. The third amazing benefit of eating only meat for 30 days is that you enter a state of ketosis. You've heard of the keto diet. However, keto is much more than just a diet. It's actually a metabolic state, a metabolic process, and we're all designed to use this metabolic process. It's estimated that 93% of Americans are keto deficient. In other words, they're stuck burning sugar. They have high levels of insulin. In order to tap into body fat and to use the benefits of ketones, we have to lower insulin, which we just established you will do when you eat only meat for 30 days. But ketones have way more benefits. When your body is in a state of ketosis, and that will happen when you eat meat for 30 days, those ketones actually act as a signaling molecule. And that signaling molecule of ketones communicates to your mitochondria. Your mitochondria, yes, are the power plant in your cells, but there's much more to that mitochondria. Helps you create energy, helps you burn fat. And it's been shown that when you are in ketosis, your mitochondria start duplicating. It goes through a process called mitochondrial biogenesis. That's because ketones stress the mitochondria in a very positive way. It's a good stress to duplicate and replicate. This is why somebody who's in a state of ketosis produces 400% more ATP, which is the energy your mitochondria produces, than somebody who's stuck burning sugar. When you enhance that mitochondrial function, it raises your basal metabolic rate, meaning you burn more calories in the form of your body fat without having to track calories or having to exercise. You burn it just by naturally sitting on the couch if you're in a state of ketosis. So when you eat nothing but meat for 30 days, you dramatically lower insulin levels, and what happens? That shift occurs. Let's use ketones. The liver starts producing those ketones as your body starts using body fat for energy. In a nutshell, this is how it works. You lower your insulin levels by eating meat. All of a sudden, glucose drops in your body, insulin drops in your body. Then your metabolism says, oh, we need a different fuel source. So it switches over to your body fat. It starts burning body fat for energy. And your body fat, the fatty acids, are shuttled to your liver. Your liver picks it up for energy, and it produces ketones. It produces three types of ketones: beta-hydroxybutyrate, acetone, and acetoacetate. All three are very beneficial. Ketones have also been shown to extend lifespan by raising intracellular glutathione and also creating a mitochondrial uncoupling process, which simply means it lowers free radicals and oxidative stress within your cells, while at the same time producing more energy and raising your basal metabolic rate. So yes, eating meat will get you in ketosis and you'll experience all these amazing benefits. The fourth incredible benefit of eating only meat for 30 days is you'll have better mood, better brain function, and sustainable energy levels throughout the entire day. This happens for several reasons. We just mentioned the benefits of ketones. Those ketones give your brain an alternate fuel source, and guess what? Your brain has the highest concentration of mitochondria, so that duplication of mitochondria that occurs with ketosis happens at an extreme level in the brain. So you have mental clarity, peak brain cognition, and you feel like your brain is on fire in the best way possible. And also, as your gut is resetting, as we mentioned earlier in this lesson, it also resets your brain, because the gut is connected to the brain, and whatever happens in the gut happens in the brain, and vice versa. You have a nerve called the vagus nerve, which connects these two systems. This is a highway of communication between the gut and the brain. The vagus nerve is a long nerve that extends from the brain stem to the abdomen, carrying signals in both directions. Information about gut sensations such as fullness and discomfort travels to the brain, while signals from the brain influence the gut function such as motility and acid secretion. Many of the same neurotransmitters found in the brain are also produced in the gut. For example, serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter often associated with mood regulation, is predominantly produced in the gut. This suggests a strong link between the brain and the gut. And when you fix the gut, you fix the brain, then you get more serotonin, meaning your mood improves. Whether it's just wanting to feel better and have more energy, or severe mental illnesses like depression, bipolar disorder, or other mental illnesses out there. This can improve all of them. And the reason it's going to help with your energy levels is because your glucose and your insulin levels are going to be stable for those 30 days. When you're not doing meat for 30 days and you're eating carbohydrates, there's going to be peaks and spikes of glucose and insulin. It's called the blood sugar roller coaster. And when you eat carbs and spike blood sugar, it drops, so does your energy. And then you have to eat more food just to get more energy, and then the energy drops. It's a vicious cycle. When you eat nothing but meat, you don't have that problem. That roller coaster doesn't exist anymore. Your blood sugar and your insulin levels are stable throughout the entire day. What does that mean? That means you wake up feeling energized, and that energy carries you throughout the rest of the day until you lay down in bed at night without having to rely on stimulants, food, and toxic 4-hour energy drinks. This energy could translate into your relationships, your productivity, to your exercise, and just feeling like a rock star. The fifth incredible benefit of eating only meat for 30 days is you reduce inflammation in your body. When you eat foods that contain these plant toxins and vegetables, it creates inflammation in your body. The most common signs of inflammation is joint pain and stiffness, fatigue, skin problems, and weight gain and weight loss resistance. Eating only meat is essentially an elimination diet. When you eliminate these inflammatory plant toxins, your body's innate intelligence, this inner physician, goes to work for you. You dramatically lower inflammation, and this happens within days. What you'll notice is your joint pain and stiffness starts to go away, so you can be more active. You also notice skin problems such as acne and even more severe skin issues like psoriasis begin to improve day after day. The extra fat on your body continues to fall off because you lower inflammation. What that means is your cells have membranes, and on those membranes are receptor sites, and those receptor sites need to hear your fat-burning hormones so it could burn fat. When there's inflammation, that message is blocked. So when you lower inflammation by eating meat, now all of a sudden your fat-burning hormones could get into your cells, so you burn fat. And your other hormones that help you produce energy and extend lifespan also get into the cell. Not only that, nutrients get into the cell more efficiently. In other words, good things get in and bad things get out. Your cells have the ability to receive these signals and produce the job you want and get rid of these free radicals at the same time when you lower inflammation, which you will do when you eat nothing but meat for 30 days. This optimizes your hormone levels. So if you did blood tests on day 1 and on day 30, you're gonna see improved levels of hormones. If you looked at your gut, you'll see dramatic changes in your gut, but you're gonna notice it by how you feel by eating only meat for 30 days. And I'm wondering if you're gonna give this a shot. Let me know if you are. If you enjoyed this video, you're gonna love a recent video I just published where I did an experiment where I didn't just go 30 days eating only meat, I went 90 days. And I tested blood work on day 1 and on day 90, stool test on day 1 and on day 90. I tracked my total weight body fat percentage. I even got some of the world leaders in this space to review my results, and I published it all in a recent video. So watch this video coming up next to see what 90 days of carnivore, which is just meat, did to my body. I did a lab test on day 1 and day 90, and you will not believe the results. In this video, I'll be sharing the entire experiment of all 90 days of carnivore, and I'll be sharing my lab test, my stool test, other metrics that I tracked, and some other surprising, shocking results from the 90-day experiment. Now,